Chapter 5. Ning Xinyan apologized. Ning Wangshu absolutely couldn't hear him. He just quietly looked at his father with pitch-black eyes. Ning Xinyan hugged him tightly, using all his strength, kissing his forehead and hair. It took a few minutes to temporarily pacify his rage. Then he quietly asked, "Baby, tell Papa who's really hitting you. Is it Wang Ma?" Ning Wangshu trembled, but remained silent. Ning Xinyan hurriedly patted his back. He repeatedly questioned, but Ning Wangshu stayed silent, so he had no choice but to appease. "Baby, don't be afraid. Papa will protect you." He paused, then struggled with guilt as he continued. "As long as you tell me, Papa will definitely help you punish the bad guy. But if you hide it because you're too afraid, Papa can only make Uncle Xian leave." "Don't!" Ning Wangshu, who had been silent for 10 consecutive days, shouted in panic. Ning Xinyan's heart trembled. He forced himself to continue interrogating. "Don't what? Don't throw Uncle Xian out? Then tell Papa who has been hitting you, okay? If you don't tell Papa, how can Papa protect you? You're Papa's only child, Papa's treasure. Papa will never not care about you. Do you know?" He tried to slow down his tone as much as possible, enticing his son to take down the defenses around his heart. Ning Wangshu struggled for a long time before he whispered in a barely audible voice, "Don't make Uncle Xiang go away. Wang Ma hit me, not Uncle." He finally raised his head. His tears-filled eyes looked straight at his father. Ning Xinyan also had wet eyes. Cupping his head, he repeatedly kissed him, then pulled him into his arms. His cautious treatment was like he'd recovered a long-lost treasure. If the monitors weren't installed, he probably would have always been kept in the dark. Who would have thought that the real culprit would be the Wang Ma who'd worked hard without complaint to raise him up? If he had driven Wei Xian away, his son would have only fallen into a more tragic situation. His autistic symptoms would have also become more and more serious. Ning Xinyan's disgust, hatred, and anger were all vented on an innocent man, while Wang Ma was uninhibited, probably secretly mocking his stupidity. Thinking of this, Ning Xinyan's face flushed, like he was fiercely slapped dozens of times, ashamed of his failure. Zhou Yunsheng saw Ning Xinyan's embarrassed expression through the AI on his wrist. He bowed his head to avoid the pinhole camera and smiled happily. He stood up, stretched, taking off his clothes while walking towards the bathroom. But while standing under the shower head, his muscles were slightly stiff. Zhao Yun seemed to have also installed a pinhole camera in the bathroom, and more than one. His work was really too attentive. The corners of Zhou Yunsheng's mouth pulled up, and he continued nonchalantly taking a shower. Ning Xinyan was straight. He shouldn't have an interest in peeping at men in the shower. Besides, even if you let him see, what was the harm? After playing the role of countless villains, Zhou Yunsheng's shame and integrity had been eaten away hundreds of years ago. Ning Xinyan got the truth from his son's mouth. Then he bathed him and changed his clothes, repeatedly assuring him that Wang Ma would be driven away. Ning Wangshu was very excited, but because of the repeated torment he'd received, he'd even forgotten how to laugh. Only the corners of his mouth slightly curved. Seeing this broke Ning Xinyan's heart. Ning Xinyan was known as the cunning fox in the business world. It wasn't difficult to figure out that his son's abuse must have a hidden ulterior motive behind it. Wang Ma has served the Ning family for a lifetime. She even worked hard without complaint to raise him up. Why did her temperament change at this age? Wang Ma wasn't a pervert. She naturally hadn't abused his son to satisfy selfish desire. So what was her motivation? Ning Xinyan believed that benefits were the main motivator of human activities. Wang Ma abused his son because he could benefit from it. Then who would profit from his son's abuse and Xian's expulsion? Ning Xinyan thought of a person. His brows fiercely wrinkled. If it was her, things might be even more complicated than he thought. The father and son stayed in the room, affectionate for a long time, finally getting back a little bit of the former warmth and harmony in their interaction. At this time, the bedroom door opened and Xiao Xingfang came in, carrying a bag. She said in an exhausted tone, "Xinyan, Wang Ma called you guys down to eat. I'll change my clothes first. You don't have to wait for me." Ning Xinyan promised. Holding his son, he walked down to the dining room and saw a young man sitting upright in the corner, his hair wet. Ning Xinyan gently said, "Why didn't you blow dry your hair before coming down? Isn't your concern coming out too late?" Zhou Yunsheng's heart lightly ridiculed, but he reddened his cheeks slightly, pretending to be startled and lowering his head. Ning Xinyan let out a helpless sigh, but didn't dare scold him again. Afraid to scare him, in the past, Wei Xiyan always avoided his gaze. He just thought that the other man had a guilty consciousness, but now he knew that it was because of shyness. His childhood tragedy caused him to seal his heart, the same as his son. Thinking of this, Ning Xinyan's heart softened. He inwardly vowed that from now on he would take good care of the younger man and never let him bear the slightest grievance again. Wang Ma was very surprised by Ning Xinyan's sudden attitude change. She almost dropped the dishes. Xiao Xingfang also coincidentally walked in at this time. The two women quickly glanced at each other. That atmosphere at dinner was very subtle. Ning Wangshu obediently nested in his father's embrace, eating his dinner, his gleaming eyes occasionally looking towards his Xiaoshu. Brimming with tranquility and happiness inside, Zhou Yunsheng ate by himself, and after finishing his meal, he headed back to his room, his head lowered, avoiding looking at anyone. "Is baby full? Come with Papa to the study to read." Ning Xinyan saw that his son refused to touch the spoon again, so he slowly helped him wipe his mouth. Ning Wangshu nodded, his eyes slightly bright. He was actually very afraid that his father would hand him to Wang Ma again. Ning Xinyan kissed his son and carried him upstairs. Ning Wangshu has always been very clever and quiet. He'll happily play with a set of building bricks for several hours. Ning Xinyan set him on his lap, then spread building blocks over the huge desk, letting him play as he stared at the monitor. In a room across the corridor, Zhou Yunsheng was lying on the bed, wearing a large white shirt without any pants. Swinging his pair of long white legs, he leisurely looked at the picture album while staring at the AI. He'd really enjoyed watching Ning Xinyan's face go through those phases of realization, but he was looking forward to Zhao Xingfang and Wang Ma's wonderful performance even more. After making sure Ning Xinyan had already left, Zhao Xingfang put down her chopstick and asked, "Wang Ma, you didn't complete the task today?" "I was playing cards with my sisters today and forgot the time. Tomorrow I'll definitely do it for you tomorrow." Wang Ma replied in a low voice, "Hurry up, every time I see Wei Xian, I feel uneasy. Also, be more ruthless. You'd better turn that little bastard into an idiot. Anyway, you have Wei Xian for a scapegoat. What are you afraid of?" Xiao Xingfang urged. Then seemed to feel very amused. She even chuckled. Wang Ma nodded repeatedly. I got it. Then the money we agreed on beforehand?" As long as Wei Xian gets kicked out, I'll immediately call you. If that little bastard becomes an idiot, I'll add another 500,000. Zhao Xingfang generously promised. Wang Ma was unable to contain her joy, repeatedly promising to complete the task tomorrow. They were totally unaware that inside the flower vase on the dining table, a pinhole camera was hidden. The expressions, actions, and dialogue were all covered into image data and transferred to the computer screen. Sitting in front of the computer, Ning Xinyan's face had already been completely distorted. His eyes burned with angry flames. Although he had guessed it was the two women, after truly hearing them, he was itching to dismember them into 10,000 pieces. Ning Wangshu keenly sensed his mood change and started trembling. At this, Ning Xinyan snapped out of it, then exhausted all his efforts to suppress his fury. He kissed the top of his son's head, his lowered eyes contemplating. Zhao Xingfang harmed his son to clear out an obstacle for her future children. He couldn't fear this, but for what purpose did she desperately want to kick Xian out? Xian's parents left him a huge inheritance. He really didn't care about the Ning family's property. It could be said that his eyes and heart were only focused on painting. There were no secular things. How could he obstruct Xia Xingfang? Ning Xinyan guessed that there might be an even deeper reason behind it. Time unknowingly passed while he was pondering, so when he finally snapped out of it, Ning Wangshu was already lying asleep on the table. Ning Xinyan carried him back to his room, gently covered him with the quilt, kissed his forehead, and said quietly. After a long while, he closed the door and left. Jia Yun had escorted Wang Ma to the study. They were currently waiting for him. Wang Ma, you've gotten older. Go home today. Ning Xinyan sat in the leather chair and got straight to the point. These old arms and legs can still last a few more years. Plus, with the baby being harmed like that, I feel anxious if I just leave. Xinyan, I know you're worried about me, but I'm even more worried for you and the baby. In my eyes, you guys are no different than my own children and grandchildren. Wang Ma spoke while shedding tears, but in reality her heart was slamming wildly. Ning Xinyan sneered. If 500,000 can persuade you to kill your own grandchildren, I really don't dare accept these feelings. Wang Ma turned pale with fright. She stammered to form an explanation, but saw the man turn the computer screen around. On it was the scene of her and Xiao Xingfang whispering. Realizing that it would be impossible to dispute, Wang Ma spilled the beans about how Xiao Xingfang's affair was accidentally seen by Wei Xian, and how she colluded with her to drive him out. Then she started reminiscing about the past, trying to use warmth to move the furious man. Xiao Xingfang, Xian Yu, Ning Xinyan chewed over these two names. His deep eyes slowly turned red with rage. Wang Ma got up at night for a drink of water, but tripped on the stairs and broke her legs. I felt distressed for her and let her recuperate in the hospital for several months. This matter helped me arrange it, okay? He looked straight at Zhao Yun. Even Zhao Yun, who'd walked through battlefields, couldn't help but feel intimidated by his sinister eyes. After he stabilized his mood, he immediately took out a syringe and stabbed it into Wang Ma's neck. Wang Ma's eyes rolled over, then she fell unconscious to the ground. Zhao Yun circled around Wang Ma twice, then unhurriedly broke her left leg. The crisp sound would make someone's scalp grow numb. But Ning Xinyan felt it wasn't enough, lightly saying, "The right leg too." Zhao Yun did according to his words and broke Wang Ma's two legs. Then he carried her on his shoulder, found no one in the corridor, and quietly left. Ning Xinyan stood up, walked to the front window to smoke. He caught a glimpse of the monitoring tool that was still on. His eyes flashed. Wei Xiyan was unwittingly lying in bed, asleep, wearing only a large white shirt. His smooth white legs unconsciously curled up, his toes restlessly twitching. He was clearly being blown by a cold air-conditioned wind. This guy really couldn't take care of himself. Ling Xinyan sighed, finished off the cigarette, and quietly walked to the youth room. A picture album was scattered on the bed. After putting it back into the bookcase, he reached out and gently adjusted his sleeping position. Then he covered him with a thin quilt and slightly increased the air conditioning temperature. The teenager mumbled, burying his delicate face in a soft pillow, and yearningly rubbed against it. His motion was extremely cute. Ling Xinyan stared blankly for a bit. Then he leaned over to mutter in his ear, "Good night, Xian, and I'm sorry." After he left, the room sounded an almost inaudible chuckle.